Hi, welcome back. This is episode 2, and I'm Linda, and this is my assistant Gracie, and we have got a ton of stuff for you. So let's don't waste a minute. Let's go. Hey, welcome back. My son told me after the last video that because he was born in 1981, he really is not a Generation X and he's not a millennial. Even though you see Generation X goes from 1965 to 1985 and the millennials 1986 to 2005. He said that he is a new micro generation, and this micro generation has a whole new name, and it is the Zennials, the X from Generation X and the Ennials from the Millennials. This is a little micro generation from 1978 to 1985. And the reason they are kind of pulled out, I guess they're not quite as cynical as Generation X, but they're not as optimistic as the millennials. So let me just kind of show you, they're the ones that grew up on this. These are things that were real important to the Zennials. They're also known as the Oregon Trail generation. You know what? Actually, a lot of them played this during history class in middle school and elementary school, because I remember my kids telling me about this. They also, Goonie fans. The Goonies was a big time movie in the 80s and 90s, and they were brought up on this movie. And one more thing, Saved by the Bell. Saved by the Bell was their big show at the time. So they have a lot of different qualities that are just a little different from either the Xers or the millennials. So this one's for you, Tom. I got it right. And also for everybody, down below, I put some links to some really cute little quizzes that you should take and see how you do, how much do you remember, and maybe even cross generations. See if you can see what the millennials have, what the maybe Xers can try the boomers. And then when you get your results, just share down in the comments if you would, and tell me how you did.
Are you ready to play Boomer Brain Buster Trivia? What was the name of Russia's first artificial satellite? Was it A, Spamnik, B, Mutnik, C, Sputnik, or D, Nikita? You had 3 seconds. Okay, the answer is Sputnik. And actually, Sputnik was the first satellite to orbit Earth, put out by the Russians. It wasn't much bigger than a beach ball. And there actually was a Mutnik. It was called Mutnik, but it was Sputnik 2. And Sputnik 2 launched a dog in it. And the dog's name was Laika. And she was it was a mutt dog. And when it was launched, of course, poor Laika never made it. She died, I don't know how far into the trip, probably pretty fast. But anyway, it became known as Mutnik. Okay, number 2. What year did California's Disneyland first open? Was it A, 1954, B, 1955, C, 1956, or D, 1957? You had 3 seconds. This one I think everybody pretty much knows. And the answer is B, 1955 is when it opened up to the public. Actually, the second Disneyland, opening up in Orlando, opened up in 1971. And since I was raised probably only about 2 miles from the California Disneyland, when I heard that Florida was putting one in Orlando in 1971, I thought, it's never, ever going to make it. Only one that could ever make it is the one in Anaheim. That's it. Well, I was wrong. Okay, question number 3. Which company first introduced TV dinners in 1954? Was it A, Swanson, B, Birdseye, C, Green Giant, or D, Lean Cuisine? You have 3 seconds. And the answer is Swanson. And I don't know about you, but I love TV dinners. This one I didn't like because if you remember, this one's Salisbury steak. And it had mashed potatoes, mixed vegetables, and then in the middle there is a dessert. There's like a little cake thing with a cherry in it. And so for the last and final question, this is a little harder. The Indian head test pattern was A, is seen after sign-off of TV broadcasting. B, is seen before sign-on TV broadcasting. C, is used to align a black and white TV camera. Or D, all of the above. You had 3 seconds. It is all of the above. Actually, the Indian head test pattern was broadcasted only for a short time while the studios, they were still broadcasting. Once they turned off the broadcast and the pattern would go down, then it would go to that snow, that stuff, then it was totally off. They also used this pattern. As you can see, everything on the pattern meant something in order to align the cameras. And they had to make these adjustments on a regular basis because the TV system electronics were used hot vacuum tubes, and a lot of times they would get too hot, and so throughout broadcasting they would have to realign the cameras, so I guess that would bleed through to the actual broadcast.
How'd you do in the Boomer Brain Buster? Did y'all get it 100%? A plus pluses? If you didn't do so well, guess you're going to have to watch some more documentaries. Gotta love the documentaries. Anyway, I wanted to tell you a story. And I guess I want to call it story time. And I'm just going to give you just the beginning of it. And this is an ongoing thing. I started at the beginning of the month to put all my ducks in a row so that I can start the process to get Medicare. And you're supposed to have it done by your birthday, your 65th birthday. So I am supposed to start the process at the end of this month. So what I did was I knew that I was in trouble because I had my Social Security card shows the date of my birth as in May, and my date of my birth is in June. And this went back as far as I was probably 14 13, 14 years old, and I filled out the Social Security form, and my mom said, oh, you know, they really screwed up on my birth certificate. It's not really a birth certificate, it's kind of like a receipt. Well, they put May instead of June, and she's like, no, there's no big deal. So we'll just fill out your Social Security card. It's just so much easier. Just put down May. So I did. Well, my real birth certificate says June. So I kind of put it off, and then I found out that this is going to be a big problem. And so I called Social Security, and we're talking. The guy's really nice, and we were talking. He's like, oh yeah, no problem, we could fix this. Oh, by the way, we show you here as you're not an American citizen. I'm like, excuse me? And he says, yeah, but I know what the problem is. He says, it happened to me too. He says, you were born in the county of Orange in California, in the city of Orange. So it says Orange, Orange, California. They saw that as a foreign country. And now I am marked as someone that was not born in the United States. He said it happened to him too because he was born in San Diego County, and in California. So San Diego. They looked at that. Nope, sorry, born in a foreign country. So I have to get all of this stuff straightened out. So this is what I did. I had to get a birth certificate and the original copy of my driver's license, and I have to mail them to Social Security. The originals. I said, are you kidding me right now? He goes, no. I said, well, can I come in? No. We'll have them back to you in 4 weeks. And I am supposed to go 4 weeks without a driver's license. I mean, seriously. So anyway, it's ongoing right now. So I send away for my certified birth certificate from California. And I just got an email the other day that says, oh, it's in the mail. You'll get it by the end of April. I'm like, oh my goodness sakes. So I've got more trials and tribulations to share with you, because now there's a whole driver's license fiasco going on too. It's like, oh, for crying on a crutch. But anyway, stay tuned. Next one, I will tell you a little more about my luck. All happened in one day. But let's, for now, just scoot right on over and let's take a look at back in the day.
Okay, it's time to look at back in the day. And today's back in the day is the year 1955. We're going to start 1955 back in the day with the Golden Arches, McDonald's. In 1955, Ray Kroc started the McDonald's that we know and love today. If you ever have gotten a chance to watch The Founder, starring Michael Keaton, oh my gosh, it's such a good movie. And if you take a look, it's amazing how much Keaton looks like Kroc. Anyway, if you haven't watched it, you have to watch it. I think it's on Netflix. The next, look at Lee Meriwether. Lee Meriwether won Miss America in 1955. If you don't really remember who she was, you probably know her from the Bob Newhart show. She was Emily, Bob Newhart's wife in the show. It ran from 1972 to 1978. It was a funny show. Now the next one is interesting. In 1955, Chrysler Dodge came up with a vehicle that was marketed to women, and it was called the La Femme. It was pink on the inside, pink dashboard, pink carpeting, pink upholstery. It even had a place where you could store your purse. Best thing is that it came with your pink upholstery. It came with matching chic umbrella and raincoat. It also came with a purse that matched the leather in the car. And then, of course, you saw the back of the seats where you could carry your umbrella and your purse and everything in your little special compartments in the back. Ladies, look what we have today. Something kind of beefy. Pink Jeep. And if you want to decorate it a little bit, you could always get nice, long eyelashes for your headlights. Beautiful. Now the next one is cigarettes. And from like the 1920s to about 1955, Marlboro actually advertised to women, and it was more or less made you beautiful. It was mild as May, and it was good for your lips, lip therapy. And you can see in the picture here, this woman looking at her GI boyfriend over there fighting the Germans, and she's blowing him a nice smoky kiss. In 1955, things changed in history, and women needed to be at home, raising children, being there and ready for their husband, dinner on time. And it started with Marlboro Country and cowboys. In 1955, a pack of cigarettes ran about 23 cents. So if you were to add inflation onto that, today it should run about $2.45. But with all the different taxes and stuff today, cigarettes run about $8.50 a pack. The interesting thing is that the cigarette companies advertise that physicians supported it. And like you see here in this ad with Lucky's, it's less irritating because it's toasted. And then in the fine print, your throat is protected against irritation and that nasty cough. If you've ever seen the movie Forrest Gump, and when Forrest goes in and gets his braces on his legs, this is what this advertisement kind of looks like to me. The whole time the doctor is a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. In this ad from Camels, it states that more doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette. In the 1920s to the 1980s, you could actually get a pack of cigarettes out of a vending machine. You put your quarter in, you pull the lever, and down came a pack of cigarettes. Today, they have taken those old cigarette machines, refurbished them, and now you can get art out of them. Put your money in, pull the lever, and out comes art instead of a pack of cigarettes. Much better for your health. And finally, for back in the day, I have Einstein. Einstein died April of 1955. He was 76 years old. When he passed away, his wishes were to be cremated right away and have his ashes spread. And so when his body was taken to the morgue, it was autopsied and then sent for cremation. And lo and behold, his brain was missing. Well, the pathologist who did the autopsy was Dr. Thomas Harvey. He had taken his brain out to do further studies. Now, there's been all kinds of theories. There's theories that Einstein had volunteered his brain for research. They also say that maybe Einstein's son had made that decision and wanted it preserved. But anyway, it ended up in Dr. Harvey's office in formaldehyde. Dr. Harvey divided it up into 240 pieces, and he just researched it. Well, based on what they knew in the 50s, he actually never published anything because he couldn't find anything abnormal. In the meantime, he gave pieces away for study in different universities, and there were other doctors that did find certain things. Today, Einstein's brain spends most of its time in jars of formaldehyde at Princeton Hospital. And if he were to be alive today, he would have been 142 years old.
Gracie, my assistant, and I want to wish Albert Einstein happy birthday. And happy birthday to everybody else whose birthday is in March and in April. And I hope that you have a wonderful year. And she's got a liquor license. I don't know if you noticed that in the last video. Yeah. But anyway, so I hope that you like this. I would love to have you, if you will hit the subscribe button and the bell that's right next to it, and a thumbs up. And next time we'll look at 1956. So, peace out.